answer all of your nutrition and running questions and concerns. Today's question comes from Alex P. in Salt Lake City.
Alex writes, I was hoping you guys could help me with a problem I've been having. It seems like no matter what I eat, my stomach says me running to the bathroom mid-run. Not cool. But if I don't eat before I run, I feel worn out, like I'm dragging the whole time. What can I eat before a run that won't bother my stomach?
Hi, Alex. Thank you for your question. And don't worry, you're certainly not alone.
Gastrointestinal issues are extremely common among endurance athletes, with 30 to 50% of these athletes reporting some type of gastrointestinal symptom during or following a workout. In part, these distressing results occur because intense activity can restrict blood flow to the GI tract, which impairs digestion. The bouncing up and down that happens when you run also causes mechanical disturbance of your GI system, which can lead to unwanted symptoms. Again, while prevalence of symptoms can vary depending on how long and intense your run is, as well as your individual response, various studies have found that anywhere from 4 to up to 93% of participants at various endurance events suffer gastrointestinal disturbances. Clearly, stomach and GI upset is a common and problematic occurrence that can really put a damper on your running performance. Fortunately, there are 2 nutritional strategies you can implement to maximize your digestion and increase your chances of a calm stomach during your run. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify 2 attributes of a pre-workout snack or meal that can affect a runner's gastrointestinal system.
The first important element we are going to talk about is food type. What types of foods do you normally eat before a run? The best kinds of foods prior to a run that will begin within 1 to 2 hours are foods that digest easily and contain a larger amount of carbohydrate relative to protein and fat. If you are having digestive issues, a good rule of thumb is to look for a good food or product that contains very little fiber and is perhaps in liquid form. So with that in mind, some good examples would be oatmeal, such as Quaker Quick Oats, or low-fiber cereal, such as Rice Chex. Low-fiber toast, such as white with peanut butter. A sports drink, such as Gatorade. A spoonful or 2 of honey. A sports gel, such as goo. Or a carbohydrate powder, such as maltodextrin.
Besides being lower fiber and having a higher carbohydrate content, you may also want to pay attention to further factors that could impact your GI system, such as the fructose and lactose content of your pre-workout meal. Fructose is the sugar that is commonly found in fruit, and it is absorbed differently in your GI tract than glucose is. Because fructose is absorbed by a different transport mechanism in your gut, consuming it along with glucose could allow for faster and better absorption of the carbohydrates. This can minimize gastrointestinal discomfort for some people. Many sports supplements, such as gels, contain a combination of glucose and fructose, so it could be something to try if you are having trouble with solid foods. These types of supplements have also been purported to better stave off fatigue, which you mentioned as a factor. However, it is also possible to be sensitive to the sugar fructose, as well as the sugar found in milk, lactose. Consuming fructose-rich products, such as orange juice, right before a workout is never a good idea, even if you aren't sensitive, as these tend to promote digestive upset. If you are experiencing gas, bloating, or diarrhea after eating foods that contain any quantity of fructose or lactose sugars, it would be wise to stay away from them, particularly before a run. Be mindful. Hydration status, caffeine consumption, and artificial sweeteners can also be GI upset culprits. If you are still experiencing gastrointestinal upsets after trying these recommendations, you may want to experiment with tailoring the consumption of these in your diet.
While there is a trend now to move towards real foods for fueling your run, you should feel no shame if you tolerate sports supplements better, such as Gatorade or carbohydrate powders. Everyone is unique, and you have to do what works best for you. The next important nutritional factor we are going to cover is timing and quantity. How long before your run are you eating your pre-run snack, and how big is it? These are basic but important factors to consider. Studies show that carbohydrate intake up to 3 or 4 hours prior to endurance exercise is beneficial. So this means that you don't really need to be eating right before your run if it bothers your stomach. You just need to make sure your prior meal was substantial enough to power you through. For endurance runners, it is generally recommended that this meal emphasizes carbohydrates and at 4 hours contain about 4 grams of carbohydrate per kilogram of body weight.
For a 130-pound female runner, this would be around 236 grams of carbohydrate. 236 grams of carbohydrate is a large portion, the equivalent of drinking 6 1/4 bottles of Gatorade or eating 3/4 packets of oatmeal, which is why it is important to listen to your body and tailor to your specific needs. Consider eating a bagel sandwich, banana, a Cliff Bar, yogurt with granola, and a 16-ounce sports drink if you would prefer to eat a full meal. Again, though, if that feels like too much, you have to listen to your body because, particularly with gastrointestinal issues, everyone is an individual.
It is also important to recognize that if you only have an hour or 30 minutes before your run, now might not be a good time to have a big sandwich. Your body needs time to break down that significant quantity of food, and digestion is impaired as soon as you start running. Opt for a piece of toast, or if you are really cutting it close, grab some sports drink. Now let's synthesize and review our key recommendations for Alex. So first, pay attention to food type. Consider the carbohydrate content, fiber content, form of the food, so solid versus liquid, and the sugar composition. Second, pay attention to timing and quantity. If you are eating 4 hours out from your run, make it a meal with plenty of carbohydrates, and you may not need to eat again before you run. Conversely, if you do need a snack to get you going, stick with a small portion that is going to digest quickly, and opt for liquid nutrition if your run is within 15 minutes or so. You can even take some sports drink with you while you run.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for your question, Alex, and we hope some of these suggestions help you figure out your pre-run nutrition and minimize your stomach woes.